Oh my god, it's another wonderful, delectable, laser-focused...
Oh, Christ. Hang on.
I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. Get McGee to do it. Get McGee to do the laser-focused. It is our laser-focused... Oh, yes. Excellent. Topical gaming
well done, McGee.
News discussion show. As always, it is the best video game podcast in the world. It says it right. Well, it doesn't say it on the overlay, but it probably should.
And you all know it is, ladies and gentlemen.
You all know it is anyway, so it's fine. And as a special guest this week, we've got another picture of Bingo because we were let down. But never mind. We won't dwell on it. We will move on with our lives and continue harassing people until they turn up.
I made a proclamation.
A bold claim.
A bold proclamation from a mountaintop. Also... I can hear a helicopter. Anyway, I said there will always be a guest on HOTFIX. And while that would happen in an ideal world, unfortunately... Oh, God, what's happened?
My Skype just went all crazy. Ignore that, ladies and gentlemen. It's fine.
What happened?
I tried to mute Chrome just in case we required a YouTube video, and instead I moused over Skype, which meant that my little control panel for microphone and, and all the other stuff comes up. Terrible.
I don't have to worry about these anymore because I don't even deal with HOTFIX. But yeah, so I was going to get a load of people together, but it didn't really work out that way. Also, it's like E3 this week, so there's a lot of people who are busy with that.
Yep.
So it doesn't really matter, but I will always try and get people onto HOTFIX if I can. And if you are a YouTube channel and would like to come on HOTFIX, then give me a shout. Please don't spam me if you're just some random guy off the internet and would like to join HOTFIX, because it doesn't work like that. Okay. All right, so I've got some shout-outs to do anyway. So... these are the people who very kindly have supported and or edited their pledge from last week. Okay, and I mean edited the pledge in a positive way, not a negative way. Okay, so we have got Lorcan O'Reilly pledged $2. Thank you very much. I shouldn't really read the amounts, should I?
No, it's just no names.
It's because I'm just reading from the list. But anyway, Lorcan O'Reilly, awesome. I can't say that. Lauranas Puskinganas, thank you. The Ben Hutch, thank you. Nicky Clark, thank you. The Killer Crumpet, thank you. I'm also playing the drums on McGee. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Kevin Wales and Torches. Thank you for the support, ladies and gentlemen. It is...
As always, if you want to support HOTFIX, which really helps us, even $1 helps, every dollar helps, then you can find the Patreon for HOTFIX up there, which I can never remember. I really need to check that. But it's somewhere in a little box up there, and it's also in the description as well. It is always in the description. It's the first line of the description. You cannot miss it. But yeah, does it appear... It would be over that side, wouldn't it?
So, yeah, I'm mirrored, okay? So,
yeah.
Usually, I'd go like this, and it would work.
Yeah, that's what it's the mirroring that confuses me, because I always feel like I'm not mirrored, but I know I am. So it's over there. There's a little informational thing.
You could just look at OBS, and whichever way you point in, it's the top right-hand corner of OBS. That's where it will be.
Yeah, I don't know why I've been doing that.
I think he's an idiot.
Simpler.
Ladies and gentlemen, this week's HOTFIX is going to be about E3, and the games. We're just going to talk about E3 because the news is absolutely garbage.
There's
because
no
it's E3 the week before E3, so like nobody really talks about it. There's been bits and pieces, but nothing really worthy of like a complete discussion. So yeah, I mean, we'll just talk about E3. Are you cool with that, Mr. Kirioff?
I'm absolutely fine with that. There's been we've already had I say things leaked, but we kind of know roughly what the big announcements at E3 are going to be already. So we've got things
yeah, you always kind of do though, don't you?
Yeah, you always do. But there's the standard Call of Duty. That's always there. You know, that's always going to happen. I don't know. We
do you know what I'm looking forward to? The next Call of Duty, but really I'm looking forward to FIFA 2016. It's going to be revolutionary.
Stop being a console peasant. You know what, actually, that's interesting.
I'm not really. It's funny. I mean, they just come out every year and they're the same game, basically. I mean, Modern Warfare, I don't know, I always... faff about in that, but FIFA, I got FIFA 15 when I bought the Xbox One. It just came with it, and it was kind of interesting. Like it had this card thing. I mean, I don't even know what it was, but like you could collect players, like there were like trading cards and build a team. FIFA Summit Team, it was called, and it was okay. But let's be honest, guys, FIFA 16, it'll just be FIFA 15. It'll just have the same graphics engine. It'll just be the same game. There'll be a big thing about it. Actually, this is a good thing for me to advertise what I'll probably do at the weekend as well. It is E3 is the weekend, isn't it?
This weekend, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're allowed to stream the press events, like restream them. I'll do that and just talk shit over them. So it'll be funny.
That
But the
sounds like a
FIFA
plan.
one, they always have a big thing, and it's like, yeah, here it comes, Bob McBobbing from EA Sports.
Syndicate.
And then it fucking comes up and it's like, NHL. And then it'll be,
Which no one in
American
this country
football.
at least cares about.
And then it'll be FIFA.
You know what, actually,
Whatever.
I am curious, right? You're a football guy. I'm not a football guy. We know that. We know that you like your football. There's women's teams
Never
in
played
FIFA
it before in
16.
my life, mate. Oh yeah,
What-
that's the only difference. I
What
suppose,
do you reckon of that? Because I saw a load of backlash about people going, "Oh, they're wasting time developing women's teams on FIFA. Why aren't they fixing these issues, those issues, etc., etc.? Like problems with the previous game." Is it not just a positive thing that?
I'm all for women playing football. In fact, I quite like it when women play football. However, from like a pure, like if you want to talk about the real game from like a spectator's point of view, you've got the Women's World Cups on at the moment, and I've seen some of the games because they're on the BBC. And I don't mean this disrespectfully, but it's like watching kids play football. It's just because women are not as strong as men, but it's really apparent, like when you watch them play football.
Yeah.
You know, when you see things like track and field, and you see women and you see men. Okay,
Yeah.
obviously women don't race against men, but when you see the women events go on, they don't look slow. You know, they look okay. I mean, okay, the times are not as fast as men, and that's fine. But football, I don't know what it is, but when I watch women's football, it's like really weak. I mean, they're probably not weak. Don't get me wrong, but it just looks really slow. And like the goalkeepers seem completely inept. It's dead funny if you watch women's goalkeepers. I mean, no offense to anybody who's actually out there who is a women's goalkeeper or any of that, but it's just like kids playing football. It's really weird for me to watch. So I'm used to watching the men's game, and it's fast. I played the men's game. I know if I play football with a woman and I shoulder barged her, that would probably be bad for her. But if she was a big lass, it'd probably be bad for me. So you don't know. But I mean, the fact that it's in the game is about time because they should be represented in the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, who the hell is going to play it? Because you know what? FIFA fan base is going to be male predominantly. Okay, there are women that watch football, but you're going to want to play as all the top players, the top teams. It's always the same. You're not going to want to be like, I can't even name you any female. I know the face of someone. Like I could point them out and go, yes, she plays for England or whatever, but I don't really. I don't know, but I just think it's good that it's in the game. It should be there, equality and all of that stuff. But from me, as like a football fan,
it's not a massive deal. It's good that it's there, but it's not something that you're personally.
Well, it's a strange thing, women's football is, because you'd think it'd be massive because football is massive. It's the biggest sport in the world by like an absolute mile. So you'd think women's football would be up there, but it's kind of not. I'll tell you what I do like watching. Netball. I tell you what, that's really good. That is women's netball. I mean, it's predominantly women anyway, but...
What is netball? I think I've heard of netball.
Yeah, it's like basketball, but...
Oh, is it the...
It's like what they used to play at school, the girls.
Yeah.
Goal attack and goal defence and all of that. It's quite good.
It was interesting because I when they announced that you know there was going to be women's teams in FIFA, like... I know Reddit's not the best place to get your information, but there was an interesting spread of opinions where it was like
on the fucking job now.
God, but it was like there are a lot of people who are like, oh, I don't see why they put this in. It's completely pointless. And I was kind of thinking, well, even if not many people actually play that mode, I don't think it's ever fair to say putting something like that in a popular game like that is pointless because
it's going to add to the game. Yeah.
It's always going to add something. And there was actually quite a few things where people actually said like, oh well, no one cares about women's football. And then it was actually that was one of the things I found interesting, that there are a lot of replies to that, which were women basically coming out and saying, well, I like watching both types of, I like women's football and men's football. But the fact is that I find myself drawn to support women's teams because, well, I'm a woman and I like football, and therefore I feel more drawn into that. And so this is a really positive thing for me. But it was just the kind of backlash against it kind of had me puzzled, because it was the kind of logic where people were saying things like, oh, well, they've put this in, therefore they're not going to fix this, that, or the other. The chances are they weren't going to fix this, that, or the other anyway. It's like, it's not taking away time from fixing the things you didn't like from FIFA 15. Because those are things that they like, and if they haven't had enough complaints about it, or if it's not obviously broken, it's not something they're liable to just change for the hell of it. So
no, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just going to be reskinning of models. That's what it's going to be. And now they'll just have slower speeds, I guess. It'll be interesting to see what FIFA do in terms of if they actually do that, like with player stats and stuff. Because women against women, I see no reason why FIFA don't just bump the speed up to the actual speeds of the the men. If they make
Yeah.
them slower and really slower, that will be like there'll be outcry then. Because like going back to what I said about women's football being slower and kind of like less powerful, which you'd expect because they're women compared to men. If they do that in the game, I think that would be pretty bad. Because I mean, will they allow women's teams to play against men's teams? That'll be interesting.
I think they've already said they won't. They've already said that it would just be, and there's no. I don't think there's a league system in there either. So there's like not a progression thing as such. It's more for like friendly matches and so on.
There is a women's league. That's stupid. There is a women's Premier League.
So,
anyway. Yeah, so like those games, we were joking, but then we went to a bit of debate. So like FIFA and COD, whatever, we don't care. Every year they come out. Well, let me throw a game at Mr. Kirioff. So we seen a little tease for Doom, didn't we? That could be interesting.
In fact, I shall play said teaser for Doom right now.
A little teaser for Doom, have you, boy?
There we go, a little teaser for Doom. Oh. It's so short that by the time I actually made it full screen, it had happened.
Yeah.
When they say teaser, they weren't pissing about. It's basically a demon guy with a massive gun on his shoulder shooting stuff. That's pretty much all the Doom teaser was.
Well, he's actually one of the guys from Doom, isn't he? He's the skelly boy with the rockets.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called. I can't remember. So this could be a complete bag of shit or a beautiful game. Now let's just think, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back in time. Let's go back in time to Doom 3, which I thought was a pretty good game. However, it's not a Doom game. It was just Doom doesn't have a story. You're just a guy who kills shit because, well, okay, it does have a story. You're a guy, and the fucking entire place has been infested with hell, so you just kill everyone and then go to hell and kill fucking everybody.
That's all it needs to be, isn't it? That's all it is. It's like that's one of the things that makes it kind of such
in space as well.
Such a classic thing. It's just like
hell on earth, you know.
Yeah, it went pretty much. Wherever there's demons, he goes and just murders them.
But then Doom 3 comes out, and Doom 3 is like, let's have like a stupid story, and it was more of like a horror game. It wasn't just like a straight up blast the shit out of everything. I thought it was a good game, though. A lot of people slammed it at the time, but I thought it was okay, but it wasn't really a Doom game. To call it Doom was a bit of a push. So this is obviously just called Doom. So it's like a what you call them? A reimagining. A reboot. There you go. The best Doom game I've played is Brutal Doom, and that's just a mod for Doom 2 and Doom, and it just makes the game ridiculous, and it just makes it even more murderous. All they need to do for Doom 3 is do basically a Serious Sam thing, which is what Doom was anyway, and Serious Sam kind of ripped that off and made it stupid, and have loads of monsters, loads of weapons, massive firepower, massive killing. I don't want story. I just want the levels to be the same. I don't give a shit if I'm running around some level and there's a big red door and I've got to find the red key card. I don't care about any story. I just want to fucking blow everything away, and then I want to get the key card, ram it in the door, and press a fucking button on the wall, which magically takes me to the next level. That's all I want. I don't want some fucking stupid thing like Wolfenstein, right? Because I'll tell you about Wolfenstein. That is... That's okay because of what they did with Wolfenstein. Because Wolfenstein was just shooting, like Wolfenstein 3D was just shooting Germans in Castle Wolfenstein.
That's all it was.
But Return to Castle Wolf, then all the games after that, they're fine, right? I like them. They're good. You can have a story. Nazis, paranormal, all of that shit. It's great.
Yeah.
But Doom, no, you can't have a story. You just kill everything. That's all you do. Because all that's happened is the gates to hell have opened and everybody's fucking come from hell to kill you dead. And you're the only guy there for some reason. That's not explained. We don't need to know why. You're just the only guy.
That's the thing. Is we don't. Who cares? Like, who cares why he's there? It's just he's there. He's got a bunch of guns, and there are demons after him. That's all you need to know. That's all it is. I mean, when you look at Killing Floor, that's basically all that Killing Floor is. It's just you and like a few other people seem to be standing around, and suddenly weird freak zombie demons attack you.
Yeah,
and
that's like shit though.
That's the whole thing. It's just like
I just want to be fucking going on my own against massive hordes of the undead, blowing them away. That's all I want with crazy physics.
No co-op at all. See, I'd have thought co-op would be quite good.
I'd take co-op through a campaign, but I don't want multiplayer shit with like 4 or 5.
Oh yeah, no. I think for Doom, it's like 2 people max would probably be the best thing. As long as they don't do what they did with Serious Sam 3, because Serious Sam 3 was like Serious Sam is a very simple recipe, isn't it? It's essentially Doom, but you've got
I never really enjoyed Serious Sam 3 that much, you know.
It was crap. I think the problem is that when we played Serious Sam The First Encounter, the HD remake of it. That was funny. Like, that was fun. There was not a moment in that game where you could take a breath because it was just like there was just constant waves of enemies all the goddamn time. And you know, all of them did something different. It was really interesting. It was just a fun game. Serious Sam 3 had long stretches where you saw nothing. And they tried to introduce they tried to introduce level design in Serious Sam 3. Serious Sam 1 had no level design. It was just, here's a big open space and here's a ton of enemies. You go from one big open space to the next and try not to die while shooting people with anything you can find. And that was brilliant. Serious Sam 3, the start of that game is boring as all hell. Because you start out and then it's like, here's 2 enemies. Run for another 5 minutes. Oh, here's 3 enemies. Run for another 5 minutes. I don't want that to be Doom. I do not want a Serious Sam 3 style reboot of Doom, because that took everything that was fun about that game and just wrecked it. It was just like, yeah, no, it's got better graphics, but it's totally shit to play. Like you, I want to be a guy with a massive gun shooting the shit out of demons. That is what I want from Doom. That's all Doom needs to be. It doesn't need to be anything else.
It just needs to look good. It needs to have like good physics when you blow stuff up. It needs to have real good sound design on the weapons. And the weapons need to feel good. That's all you need to do for Doom.
It needs to be gory, visceral, and have a good range of ways to murder stuff. That's essentially all you want.
We don't want a horror game or any of that shit. We just want mass murder.
I'm kind of hopeful that that's what they'll provide as well, because the teaser, the grand total of the 2 seconds of footage that we got from the teaser, it is an original mob from Doom, and it is like just firing like a mental, which kind of implies that there won't be as much kind of corridor nonsense or kind of jump scare idiocy. It's just going to be a bunch of that guy that we saw in the teaser trying to murder you, which is exactly what I want, because that's all it is. But I'll be good if it's not. Like, I would be genuinely disappointed if it isn't, because Doom's like a classic. It's like the idea of having a new Doom. I quite like the idea of having a new Doom. I just don't want them to mangle it.
Here's another classic then. So we know the name of the next Mirror's Edge game, and it's called Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Now, it's pretty funny because they're just like random words that have been strung together if you think about it stupidly.
We're switching over again.
Mirror's Edge Catalyst. It's like, okay. So
it's starting to get into Rainbow Six territory, isn't it? Rainbow Six Hidden Shield, or whatever the hell all those end up being called.
But Mirror's Edge is, the first parkour game. Okay, I believe Mirror's Edge was almost like a tech demo thing, which was done inside in-house at Dodge just to see if it would be viable. And obviously, it was released as a game. It's a very short game, but it's a very stylistic game.
Oh yeah,
and it looks really nice even now. And I think one of the reasons why it looks nice, I think it runs on Frostbite. Ooh, it must be the first Frostbite, you know.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Was it? Oh my God, Battlefield Bad Company something when that came out?
Was it Bad Company 2 was the first Frostbite?
Yeah, I'm sure this came out around the same time though, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because it was Battlefield 3 was definitely later. But yeah, it looks really nice because of the clean, like, polished design, the way the world looks. You get certain games, don't you, that like kind of stand the test of time and they do look good regardless. And this, like Mirror's Edge, is one of those games. If you go back and play it like right now, you will be impressed at the visual style. If you've not played it before, you'll be impressed at it. And basically, you're just this courier who runs around all crazy parkour style, delivering messages. Essentially, it's all the game's about, really. Yeah. So the next one, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, I want to see some gameplay footage, but honestly, I'm not going to be too shocked because I know what it's going to look like already. Well, it's going to look like Mirror's Edge.
Yeah, they've showed the some of the concept stuff they've done. The trailer that they've released sort of in preparation for E3, which we've got up now. It kind of shows
it
shows the development of Faith and shows the whatever it's called.
No, sorry, studio. I said studio.
Studio.
Shows in the studio. yeah. Well, I like the design of the lass. She looks pretty good.
Yeah, but
she ain't got her tits out for a start.
They've put combat into the game as well. Like, that's something that's like...
Yeah, where they're like drop kicking and stuff.
And I did see people sort of complain about that a little bit. It's like, oh, why have they done that? Well, it's to make it last, to give it longevity, because there are some games that you can play without combat that are fine, but I think there's not really that much in the way of character development required to have this mental parkour courier who can do all this amazing stuff, and instead of just run away from enemies, be able to take them out themselves. Because she's not like
some sort of martial art mad woman.
She's not some weakling, is she? She can leap massive distances. She can run up walls effectively. She's going to have to fight her way out of a corner occasionally, and I don't have a problem with that at all. And it's from that like concept video that they've shown for E3. It's like, and in fact, looking at it, this video was from E3 2014. So this is stuff that's like a year old at this stage. But it still looks good. Like, it still looks like Mirror's Edge. And like you say, Mirror's Edge has got such a distinctive style to it. It's like, the first time I saw it, I kind of thought, is that a bit plain? But it's not really plain. It's just so sharp and crisp because you've got all these white buildings, like just different shades of white, effectively, and then these like blue and red and yellow highlights and stuff everywhere. It's going to look really good because the first one looks really good still, and it should. I don't know.
Well, you know what? The recent Frostbite engine is pretty good. If you play Battlefield 4, that looks shit up. That does. Even now, it's like, Jesus Christ. Like, it had performance problems, but they've kind of sorted it out. But, this... It looks like it's non-lethal combat off her, which would make sense because she's not a murderer. She's just trying to get out quick, and she just quickly disarms somebody or hit him with the baton or something like that, or quickly taser somebody. Yeah, I mean, it's Mirror's Edge. I mean, I'm interested to see kind of what they show. I'm more interested to know when the launch date is. But yeah,
I think it's going to be more of the same. But then again, that's just the story of all sequels, isn't it? It's kind of more of the same. But it is going to be interesting because we haven't really had anything quite like Mirror's Edge since Mirror's Edge. So,
what about Mass Effect 4 then? What do we think about that? Because I
don't know.
So it's not going to have Shepard in, is it? I don't think.
No, they've said that Shepard's storyline has been finished at this stage.
So where did they go? I mean, where are we at the end of Mass Effect 3? The mass relays have been turned on, haven't they?
Yeah.
Or something. So you can now get to new parts of the galaxy, universe, wherever the hell the relay gates go to. So potentially, hang on, let's go crazy. We could have something mental here. You could have, like, new alien species are found because all the relay gates are open. So you could have some sort of like exploration style game, where you're sort of going around and finding out new stuff like that instead of just having like, I think what would be, I don't know if it would be irritating to me, but just having like a big baddie again. Oh no!
Yeah,
big evil aliens have come to kill us yet again.
I think they've done that. I don't think they could really do that again because it would just be like a rehash, wouldn't it? It's like it kind of told the story. It's told that story. Mass Effect has already told that story. It doesn't need to tell it for a second time, and it did it over 3 games, which I think is probably more than enough. I don't know. I'm not sure whether I'm that interested in Mass Effect 4, just because I feel like Mass Effect came to its conclusion. Like, I know there's other characters and there's other races and stuff in the universe, and there's a lot they could expand on, but I kind of felt like at the end of Mass Effect 3, whether you like enjoyed the ending or not, and some people liked it, some people didn't, it wrapped it up. It definitely wrapped it up. Whether you liked the ending or not, it kind of put a stop to the story in that it was a definitive end. So I kind of feel like with Mass Effect 4, they need to do something really different just to make it like worth even looking at, because I don't want to be fighting the big, as you say, the big bad alien threat again. I don't feel like that's in any way
Reapers, wasn't it? Or whatever.
In any way creative or interesting.
My problem with this is, why Mass Effect 4? I mean, I know why Mass Effect 4, so it's a stupid question. It's because, everyone knows what Mass Effect is. It's an established brand. Let's make a 4th one. It's like, no, let's grow some bollocks and make a completely different RPG fucking sci-fi game instead of just doing another Mass Effect, because it's like, I'm pretty sure this is going to go in a bit of a different route than previous Mass Effects, because like you said, it has to. You can't just do the same thing over and over. And the story has kind of come to a conclusion. But why not, like I said, grow some balls and do something different? I mean, if it does show up at E3, it'd be interesting to see what's going on. And in fact, actually, I'm going to throw a link out for you, Mr. Kirioff, and this is Rise of the Tomb Raider, because I never actually played the other one. I don't even own it. But I know you did. So what do you think about this?
I'm actually...
Oh, go on, sorry.
I'm quite looking forward to Rise of the Tomb Raider. I'll stick it on the screen again.
Thanks to the power of global trade.
Bloody advert. We'll switch over when the advert's finished. No, we won't. We'll switch over then. Anyway, so I don't know. The first Tomb Raider I thought was really good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good reboot of the series, and I felt they handled Lara Croft really well. Like, I really enjoyed the way her story developed and the way her character developed. Like, it was done how I wanted it to be done. Because let's face it, the first Tomb Raider, like the first Lara Croft, was very, very kind of, I guess, one-dimensional, and in a way, just like there's no character there. It's just, here is a woman in short shorts.
She had certain assets that were not.
Well, yeah, it's like that. But that was the entire character. It's just like, here is a woman in short shorts and a tight top shooting tigers and finding like.
I remember Tomb Raider. I think it might have just been the first one where the game starts off and you go down a slope into a tomb and you
Yeah.
get your 2 pistols out and shoot a tiger in the face.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like, and that just kind of sums up the old Tomb Raider. It's like that was just all of the games. I kind of like the fact they made her actually a person in the remake and made it so that she started out as being relatively normal, and then through the events that happened
Yes,
in the game.
I remember. I remember watching your video on it, and I think you were telling me about it. But she starts out innocent, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She's just like on a trip with her chums, ain't she?
Yeah, she's on like an archaeology trip, and then they get wrecked on this island, and the ship they're on sort of sinks and they end up on this island, and there's all this crazy like paranormal, supernatural stuff going on, and there's these survivors on the island who, well, attempting to do things to her that she doesn't want being done. And it's like, it's actually growth, it's actually story. It's like she actually becomes something more than just a character that was put in a position purely so she could shoot tigers with 2 pistols, which is all she was before. If they keep that like element of story,
Thanks to the power of global.
Sorry, we just had another advert play automatically because Time.com are a bunch of idiots.
Fuck Time.com. What are you doing on their website, bloke?
It's just got all this.
Just fuck them.
Such a handy link for all the different videos they've got.
Fuck them wankers. Just get YouTube up, Sonny. Just do a fucking
terrible.
search whenever we talk about a game.
Get rid of them
and play the fucking video.
So yeah, I don't know if they keep it going, if they keep the narrative going and make it kind of similar, then or at least
Well, they will.
keep it
Surely
going.
they will.
They should do.
Wasn't it on rails a lot though? The old Tomb Raider.
Well,
Whatever.
it was like there was a very linear path that you took. You could like divert into the different tombs and do the challenges there and explore those, but you could also go back and do it that way. So you could kind of go past somewhere and then go back to where you were to go back to the tomb and do it over. But it was still very like a linear experience. It was just like, here's level 1, here's level 2 kind of thing, which I didn't mind actually. I thought it suited the game fine. Like I don't feel like every game needs to be open world as long as they handle the way they push you through sufficiently. Then I'm fine with it. And I think it was Rihanna Pratchett, Terry Pratchett's daughter, who did a lot of the writing for Tomb Raider. So as far as I know, she's come back for the next one. So
they've got an actual writer, which you can tell, which does make a lot of difference. It's like The Witcher 3 has got decent talent behind it, and you can tell by the way things are done. It's not like some cheesy game story. It's like you can tell somebody has gone on here, and actually somebody with a bit of skill has been hired, which is good.
Yeah, and it makes a huge difference. I mean, I thought the mechanics in Tomb Raider were good as well. Like I liked pretty much all of the mechanics that are in there. At the start of the game was very quick time heavy, which I didn't appreciate, but it kind of started out quick time heavy, and then you'd have one every now and again. So you kind of start out thinking, oh god, is this going to be the standard? We're going to have this like every couple of minutes. Yeah. And actually it toned down really well as you went through the game. So yeah, I mean, that I'd be happy with more of the same for that. As long as they keep the characters sensible and like human still, and not just like like some mental with 2 guns going around wasting wildlife, then I'm quite looking forward to it. I think it'd be good.
I mean, if it's called Rise of the Tomb Raider, I guess this is when she starts her career of I'm just going to go and rob tombs or whatever.
Yeah. She does. I just hope they keep her like I say, just keep her human. Don't make her like a one-dimensional joke of a character.
Cabbage. But they won't. They can't. They can't.
I don't think they can. I don't think they could do it because I think there'd be too much backlash, which is fine.
What about Battlefront then, bloke?
Oh, Battlefront. I
don't think they need to see a fucking. What is this?
No. I was just gonna have a look, and then as I was typing out, it's like they know what Battlefront is. I don't think you can make the old Battlefront games anymore. I don't think you could apply those to a modern audience in a lot of ways because gaming has changed a lot since the first Battlefront games. So when people are complaining about how it's going to be too close to Battlefield, etc., yeah, it might be, but that's because that's what people these days play. Like that's what people these days actually go for. The industry's changed a lot since Battlefront was first a thing, and to kind of just essentially take Battlefront 2 and just make it all over again, it was never going to be a possibility, really. That said, I mean,
what would you think we're going to see at E3? Like, what are we going to see?
I think we're just going to see more like not CG. It might be an engine stuff, but I don't think we're going to see much in the way of gameplay. I'm going to be honest. I think they're just going to keep the hype train going. I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They're getting quite close to launch. Well, I say quite close to launch. End of the year, isn't it? It's supposed to be coming out. You've got I follow them on Twitter and EA Battlefront or whatever the hell it is, and they keep going on about Hoth and the speeders.
Yes.
So it's like, are we gonna? Is that what they're going to be showing? Like, the Hoth madness going on or something?
I think they may well take like one aspect like Hoth and kind of make that the big push, like make that the focus of the E3 footage, which I mean that'd be good if we could see some gameplay.
We just need to see gameplay. That's what we need to see. Yeah,
what I want,
in any kind
what
of
I want
way.
to see is gameplay, and I want to see some sort of evidence as to how the like the unlock system's going to work, like how progression's going to go. I want to see that.
You know what I want to see? I want to see when they do those cheesy things where it's like, and we've got all the devs together, and it's like, the curtain goes up, and there's like 10 guys on computers or whatever, and then they just play. I mean, it'll be staged because it'll have cheesy audio, and it'll be, "Hey, Bob, capture point A. Roger that, Steve."
Yeah.
It'll be like that. Really cheesy and shit because they always have that stuff. But yeah, that's what we just need to see gameplay. I don't think there's that much to say about this, but we need to see gameplay.
Yeah.
I think as well, it's probably going to be the biggest selling game all year by far. It'll be Call of Duty this year. I'm going to say that as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've got the timing for it. Like,
It's it's the advertising potential is insane, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because I mean, new film. Oh my god.
I mean,
ridiculous.
I want to see gameplay. I want to see some sort of like explanation as to how progression and unlocks and stuff, how that's going to go. But I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see a lot of that. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a lot more staged, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if actually what we saw was like. Do you remember when they did the Levolution thing for Battlefield when they showed that off, and they were having like an actual game of Battlefield, except they weren't because it was all scripted. Where they were going was scripted. What they were doing was scripted, and it was all designed to focus around that skyscraper that falls down. We'll see something like that. We'll definitely see something like that. But I kind of hope that we might actually get to see what the game is about at the same time.
Remember when we spoke about it before, when we did the hotfix after they showed a bit more information of it?
Yeah.
I'd like to see actual objectives on maps that are Star Wars objectives. Like, they're going to show Hoth. They need to show you got to destroy the shield generators if you're the Empire. Like not just a fight for the point of having a fight. It's like, no, there needs to be a point to it. If there's a story through the levels, through the maps, that'll be good. I guess kind of like in a Levolution-y way, because all Levolution was a shit name, and it was scripted,
It really was.
pre-rendered destruction, basically. Well, it wasn't pre-rendered, but it was scripted destruction.
Yeah.
Which always happened the same every single time when a certain condition was met on a map. And I think I wouldn't necessarily mind that kind of like ideology put into Star Wars, but not like with like, oh god, the building's collapsed, but destroy the shield generator when it blows up. I don't care if it blows up the same way every time, because that's like the first objective of the map. Kind of like rush mode in Battlefield, where you play over the one point, but then you'd win that bit, so then you go forward, and it sort of develops the map. That's what we need to see in Battlefront, pretty much on every map, because that's just the way it works, because it's a battle. It's not just it isn't just like a Battlefield style battle where you just go into a city and have a massive fight and everyone's just killing each other over, capture points and all that shit. If it does come like that, I'm going to be disappointed, because then it just literally is a Star Wars skin of Battlefield.
I really hope that it turns out not to be the case, but I wouldn't. Also, at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Like, I'm hoping it isn't, but the fact is, Battlefield sells really well because it's Battlefield. So if they've got a chance to kind of introduce a Star Wars,
it's down to them, isn't it? I mean, they've got like. They either go the way I want them to go, or they just go what you said and just reskin it. Either way, they're still going to get massive sales. So, I mean,
I just hope they go brave with it.
How much time they want to waste.
Yeah.
Well, what else then, Mr. Kira?
That gets me worried now. What if it turns out to be that bad? I guess
still
another
be the
one.
biggest launch of the year.
Oh yeah, easily. I mean, I guess another one is Fallout 4 is going to be all over E3, and I'm still not that fussed by it at this stage. People keep talking about it and speculating about what it could be and what's going to happen, and are we going to see things like a voiced character and so on. There's been all kinds of rumors about that, which is fine, but I'm still not feeling it. I'm still not feeling the hype, the excitement. Maybe with E3 they might show some stuff off. Like, I'm really hoping they show some gameplay. I'm really hoping they show, like, I guess, more of the environment what they're going to do with the story, stuff like that, because that could be the thing that kind of, I guess, kickstarts it a bit for me. I would expect to see that, to be honest, for Fallout. I'd expect to see something tangible, not just like some CG stuff, but some proper actual gameplay, because...
Well, if it's been in development for so long as they claim it has been, I mean, there should be something to show.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm kind of thinking it's like, we already know it's been in development for a long time. They clearly had this whole thing planned for quite a while, so therefore you'd expect to have a lot of information come out. And I think, haven't people said this is the first time... I've forgotten the names. I want to say BioWare, but it's not Bethesda. Isn't this the first time they've had a conference at E3? I'm sure I've read that somewhere where this is the first time Bethesda's had their own.
It might be, because why would they have had one before?
Yeah. In which case,
they really released one game every now and again. Yeah.
In which case, it could be. We could actually see some really impressive stuff. If that, I'm pretty sure that's true, from what I've read. But it could be that they're really going to push the boat out, and we're going to see something really impressive for Fallout, which I'd be all in favour of, because I feel we've got other stuff like The Division, for instance. The Division is not going to be an exciting entry in E3.
No,
we know about The Division. We know what's going to happen. We know the basis of the game. We know it's been delayed. We've kind of, when I say we've seen it, we've heard it. It might sound a bit kind of, you just being down on it, but the fact is we have. We've got all the info that we can really get at this stage before it releases, I think. We've got all the premise. So
I mean, honestly, like Fallout 4, yeah, whatever. I mean, I want to see gameplay. I want to see. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing for every game. I want to see gameplay. I want to see, the character development options, blah blah blah, all of that stuff. I don't care if the main character talks or not. I don't really care.
No,
I'm just like, there's a lot of things I've been seeing people like producing videos on and talking about on Reddit and places like that about all these little bits and pieces, like, oh my god, there's a guy here, he's got a dog, does this mean pets? He spoke, does that mean we talk? And it's just like to me, watching the trailer, I'm like, I don't pick up any of this because I'm not some diehard Fallout fan, but I just don't really, I'm not really too fussed. Like, Fallout 4 is not what I'm going to be watching E3 for. What I potentially could be watching E3 for is if they go, oh yes, the leaked Dark Souls 3 was actually real, here's a load of Dark Souls 3 information. That would be interesting to me, because I'd like to see that. But I've got a bit of a worry. Have we not had a Dark Souls game every year for the last 3 years? At the moment?
It's looking like that's going to be
what's going on. That's
going to be the way. I'm just looking for some of the Dark Souls 3 stuff, because it actually. Are we gonna? Is a new Dark Souls every time bad? Every year bad? I don't know if it is, because it's I think it kind of depends on who's working on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Well, it's meant to be the dream team, isn't it? It's the main man working on Dark Souls 3 for what they've been leaking. So, like, you're in this funny situation with Dark Souls. You've got Demon Souls, great game. You've got Dark Souls, an even better game. Then you've got Dark Souls 2, which is this thing which is not entirely produced by who it should have been produced by, and you can tell. And it's just kind of, I didn't think it was that good. Then you got Scholar of the First Sin came out, which I think is just like a compilation of all of the DLC and everything.
I've been told Dark Souls 2. I've been told that Scholar of the First Sin was like almost like an update to Dark Souls 2 in a way. It did various graphical things. It reordered some of the bosses as well, from what I've been told, and introduced the DLC as well. And so it's like,
but it's kind of like a balance type fix thing, and all the DLC together.
But the fact that people say that's okay, that's dodgy as all hell.
Because there was different. I remember the thing with the shadows. I think that's in the Scholar of the First Sin edition and all this crap. But and then we've got Bloodborne, and Bloodborne is not a Dark Souls game. It's clearly inspired by Dark Souls, but it's still not Dark Soulsy. And I tell you something, out of all of them, I had the best time in Dark Souls, because I was just so that if Dark Souls 3 is like Dark Souls, I'll buy that shit all day.
Yeah.
But if it's like Dark Souls 2, then I'm not really very like. I don't want some like watered down version. Well, it's not a watered down version, but like almost like an excuse just to make more of the same content. I need a different, yet similar, yet also detailed world to explore that I was given in Dark Souls. I need that.
Yeah.
Not Dark Souls 2, which is just like, oh yeah, remember Dark Souls 1? Well, this is the same thing basically.
Dark Souls 2 just didn't have the same it didn't have the same pacing. I felt like the design was really disjointing compared to Dark Souls 1. Like,
oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because it was
the geography of it made
just like,
no sense whatsoever.
Remember that bit with the tower?
Yeah.
What was all that about? It's like suddenly a tower, and I think you went up a lift, and then you went into the next bit. It was like, what?
Yeah, the geography of it made absolutely no sense. With Dark Souls, like, you could
I think
where
maybe they did that because it's like, well, it makes no sense. It's Dark Souls. Ooh. It's like, well, no.
I mean, if they did, it was like a severe misjudgment because it came across as lazy. Because Dark Souls 1, the layout and the design, the geography of the game, it might have been like you'd have a significant change from one point to another, but you could at least see the similarities and you could see how you got from one place to another. Like, I mean, the only difference is like when you go to places like Anno London, where like that's a completely different style in a way. But then again, it's also a completely different area.
Yeah, but
one
talking
which is
about
accessible
pacing and all of that stuff, you're very right. In that area you just said, remember the painting on the wall?
Yeah.
Where you can go into the painting, and that's a snowy world. Well, that's fine because you go into the fucking picture. It's like that's fine. It's not like you just turn around the corner. Oh, there's a mountain there, and it's loads of snow. It's like no,
going through like a short tunnel from the village where you can hang around in a I can't remember the actual Majuli. I can't remember what it's even called. What it's actually called. Like going through one tunnel and ending up in an area inhabited by giants that's like all towers sticking out of the sea. But then if you go left instead, you end up in a massive forest. It's like that doesn't make any... It's so disconnected. I really hope with Dark Souls 3 that they've taken like more of what made Dark Souls 1 Dark Souls. Like Dark Souls 2 felt like a kind of almost like a lazy imitation. Whereas if they could just bring back what made Dark Souls great, like bring back that kind of cohesive design and the pacing and just make it fun to explore again. Make it so like I want to go over there. I want to know what the hell that is. Or what is going on in that area there. I need to find out, as opposed to why is that area 2 feet away like a mountain when I'm stood in a valley? What's going on here? Why am I just suddenly like on a different level? What's happening?
Yeah.
Now they have said that what's his name? Miyazaki, whose name I always say Miyazaki. I don't know why.
Miyazaki.
He only supervised Dark Souls 2 whilst he was working on Bloodborne.
Yes, and I like the extent of his supervision. You can tell by the game. It can't have been that much. I think his name was just associated with it for sales, basically.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what it was. And
because you can tell Bloodborne was his thing because it's it's this new world that's been created. It's this new thing, and it's all very like, what the hell is going on? I mean, I play through Bloodborne, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
but I can still kind of work out the story. Whereas with Dark Souls, I had no clue on both accounts. But Dark Souls 2,
there's like a polish and a cohesiveness that only he brings to those games. Like,
apparently, yeah,
he's the one with the vision, isn't he? He's the one who sees all this stuff in his head and is like, okay, so no, we're not going to do that. We need to interject this first because then it'll flow better and it'll look this way. He apparently is, he's been directing Dark Souls 3. So if he's been directing it, then hopefully we'll actually see more of Dark Souls from Dark Souls 3 than we did Dark Souls 2. I'm actually, that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing more about this. There's been countless leaks about it recently. The No YouTube channel had a bunch of leaked screenshots sent to them and promotional material. And then IGN got a promotional image sent to them, which said Dark Souls 3 early 2016. So and then
IGN wrote the world's most fucking retarded review of Heroes of the Storm.
Oh.
Anyway, let's move on. So what about Deus Ex Mankind Divided? What about that? I want to see some of that, if that's going to show up. Because I really enjoyed the remake of that.
I wouldn't mind more of it, but I have to admit, I don't think I was quite as...
It looked like shit, though. It really looked like shit, Deus Ex did when it came back out. Human Revolution, wasn't it? I was trying to rack my brains to what the name is.
We've got a trailer for it.
Like shit. But Mankind Divided looks shit hot. So
it's Human Revolution was like that was the old consoles, wasn't it? Was it even out on the old consoles? Thinking about it.
Yeah. It must have been.
Yeah,
it must have been. Yeah. Because it was like, you could tell. I'm sure people were bashing it because you could see it had been designed for consoles and then just thrown on PC.
Yeah.
Because the texture resolutions were absolutely terrible. Like, obviously, it had that controversy with the bosses were done by a different company, which they did come out and say, Mankind Divided, we've actually made the bosses. See, because the problem
that was rough. If you're doing non-lethal playthrough,
you
they
had
were
to
like
kill the bosses, and then you're like, what?
Kind of defeats the point.
Well, when I played through initially, I wasn't completely non-lethal, but I was like pretty much non-lethal. I was killing people only if it was like a complete last resort. But then you get to the first boss and it's like, oh, just mow him down. It's like, hey.
Yeah.
And then you kill him. And it did feel weird. And then like after that, I just turned into a murderer and was just killing everyone for the sake of it. But then like obviously it all came out and all the bosses were designed by a different company and all this shit. But we don't really know too much about this now. There's a ton of screenshots that came out a couple of months ago, and when they announced it was in development, it looks really good. Apparently, it's just the story is just carrying on from Human Revolution, where basically the augments are just like everybody's got them now, kind of thing. And he's like Adam Jensen or Jensen, even he's just like even more ridiculously fucking augmented to the point of where he just murders people, as it shows you in the trailer that they sort of released, where he just kills a guy and then another guy and then just punches people.
Just guns down a load of guys, and there's a couple of drones firing at him. And at the moment, he's staring at the leader of the.
Like he's a big guy with a bald head, and or something. Yeah,
I think he's about to get his ass kicked by the guy. I nearly went American there. Ass no, his ass. I don't know. I did enjoy Human Revolution. I didn't like get into it as much as I think many people did, but I have to admit, I am kind of drawn to find out more, and I would like to play the new one, because it was, for all that it didn't look great and there were issues with one company doing one bit and the boss being done by another, it was still a really enjoyable game. And if Mankind Divided has anything close to the amount of kind of awesomeness that they show in the trailer, which you kind of hope that they would, then it's just going to be a blast to play, because I kind of feel like there might be more of an emphasis on this kind of combat than there was previously. Like, I kind of hope that's the case anyway, because according to this trailer, by this point, Jensen's just mental. Like, he's just got all kinds of stuff going on. And if you get to fight a giant guy with a massive metal arm, then I'm all in. It just looks amazing.
One of the good things about Human Revolution, where it sort of tackled the whole morality of augments and like who the hell can get them and what would you use them for, and why should they have that. You had the whole military augment thing. You had people getting like there were poor people on the streets who would they needed augments to survive, but they couldn't get them, and it almost was real in a respect. It was you could see that happening. So, and they did a really interesting marketing campaign for Human Revolution, where they made these fake companies up that make augments, like eyesight augments and like arms and stuff, and made these fake adverts, and they were quite good.
I remember seeing. I think it might have been when they first started doing that. You sent me a link to a trailer for a company.
I'm sure
that did,
I made videos, because when that came out,
like a guy throwing a ball for his kid is what I remember.
When this came out was like when Unit Lost first started. And I'm pretty sure I made videos on it. Let's see what I've done. They'd probably be terrible videos if they were back in the day. Not of the quality of worth a punt, mate.
You know what? As well, we can bring one up, because then we can see how bad the game looked. It didn't look great, but I mean, since we've got new consoles now, there's not really any excuse for it looking like kind of below par. So
yeah, we did some sort of a video on the trailer where we. Oh yeah, trailing behind. I remember that. Oh, we just talked over trailers. What a terrible idea.
It would have been fine, but the Yogscast stole it.
Yeah, they did. What the hell?
Yeah, we came up with that. Right, I've got it. So there we go. I've got it playing in the background there. So, I mean, I remember this being a very clever campaign. I'd like to see more of this kind of thing. Like, just in general, I think it's a more. I don't want to say intelligent, because it sounds pretentious, but it's a more interesting way of promoting your game and your material than just kind of doing the traditional. Like, for all that I like the sort of E3 trailer for Mankind Divided, with Jensen being a legend and beating the shit out of people, I also like this kind of thing.
Well, actually, I'm looking back at my video I did here, and it has reminded me. See, because it's funny how my thoughts have changed over the time of this game. When it did come out, it had loads of problems, like AI and stuff was like totally easy to abuse, and it was a bit ridiculous. But I think it got slightly better, but it still was pretty dodgy. But I mean, it's funny. It's interesting to listen to what I just said, because I kind of like ignored that, and I was more focused on the story and what was going on around in the world. I still think it was a good game, though. I mean, I remember going around Chinatown as well, and all the little like extra quests you could do. I remember there was a really annoying thing though, where I think it was Tony or somebody, who was like this mafia boss guy, Triad man. You couldn't do his quest because I didn't have the DLC. So you spoke to him, and it was like that was kind of it, the interaction with him. Because there's a point in the game where you get knocked out and put on a container. and then you're taken somewhere, and then you just suddenly wake up, and it's like it's not explained to you what happened. That was DLC that you had to have like pre-ordered DLC, I think it was. So you got with the game, and it's like, whoa, that's bad. But then they released it a bit later. You could like go back and do it, and there's other bits DLC. But yeah, it's not called Human Revolution, but Mankind Divided. I'm interested to see gameplay footage of that, and just to see how it kind of comes together. It's kind of the thing of this hotfix. It's like you need to see gameplay footage.
Yeah,
like, I don't want.
That's
just,
the
like,
overriding.
shit.
That's the overriding thing. It's like
pre-rendered stuff.
Pre-rendered stuff is all good for building up hype, but it's no good for gauging whether a game is actually going to be any good. Like, even the worst game can have a great trailer.
Who the fuck buys into this though now? Anyway, pre-rendered hype.
Yeah, but the thing is, we say that plenty of people do, because otherwise they wouldn't. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't make these expensive pre-rendered, because they're not. They're not cheap to make these things.
You see them on TV, don't you? Like,
yeah.
Recently, I've seen a couple of adverts. Well, it's not that I watch a lot of telly, but I've seen Clash of Clans is like advertised all the time.
God, yeah.
You see that like if the only other football I ever see on a TV would be like the only other football I see on a TV would be like football, and they have that kind of crap, or they have like a Halo pre-rendered thing or something like that. So I think that's probably why. Yeah. What about Mad Max then, Mr. Kirill?
You know what? I was just about to say Mad Max is something I'm actually really looking forward to, because they've been releasing stuff for gameplay. They've been actually releasing trailers where...
I've not seen any of the gameplay for this.
It's interesting. They've kind of gone for, I guess, an informative thing. I don't know whether it's because they kind of want people to be aware of what the game's going to be in, I guess, in advance, but they've kind of steered away from that whole thing of here is a Mad Max game and here is the cinematic trailer. Instead, it's been kind of walking through the things that you can do. So we've got it playing in the background now, and it looks interesting. It actually looks pretty good. You're playing Max, obviously, because it's Mad Max. And as you go through,
and his car's been nicked.
Yeah, but as you go through the game, there's almost like I guess Batman style fighting. So it's got that kind of
it sort of does look like Batman. Yeah, it kind of does look like Batman. Yeah.
And as you go through the game,
it's like loads of cars and shit.
My God. You build up your car, like you actually build and improve your car as you go along. And the thing that I really like about this is that they've said that as you build your car, like you can pick what kind of car you build. So like as you go through the game, you could have like a really fast maneuverable car that can like, I don't know, it could be covered in weapons, so you can like dive in, shoot someone up, and then drive off. You can build like massive tanks of cars, so that instead of having a bunch of weapons, you could just ram people off the road and like destroy them that way. For some reason, they've called the car the Magnum Opus, which is a bit weird. I don't understand why they've called it that. But it seems to be like fully customizable. Like whatever you want to put on there, you can put on there. Like whatever kind of car you want to build, whether you want it to be fast, whether you want to have a ton of armor, a ton of weapons, whether you want it to be capable of like going high speed off road, you can do all of that. That combined
is this like an open world game or something? You can just drive around and do whatever the hell you like.
Yeah, and it's kind of it seems to be kind of hunting down different different leaders of kind of, I guess, wasteland gangs and tribes and stuff. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm really looking forward to. I really like Mad Max. Like
he's got like some gimp on the back of his truck here. What's
I don't know.
His personal gimp.
But I really like that kind of. I like that it looks like Mad Max, but a game of Mad Max, because I've always thought to myself that is something
it would make a good game.
It would make a good game, yeah. If you do it right, it would make a good game. And by the look of the trailer, and because the trailer is pretty much entirely gameplay, I mean, I know we've got some stuff like showing Max in his garage, and it's clearly like a cutscene or a pre-render. We've also got like actual fighting being shown, and different environments being shown, and we're being shown the different types of modification you can do to the car, even the interface for how you build up your car. I really just want to see more of what we've already seen for Mad Max, because it already looks good, and I'm already excited.
It was really, it was really funny. I remember when the Mad Max like teaser announced thing came out the other E3, and it was like everyone was like, "Oh God, it's Fallout 4," because it was showing like a desert and like a wasteland thing. Yeah, and then it was Mad Max, and even I at the time was like, "What the fuck?"
I did the same. Yeah.
What is this? And then the film came out, and it's apparently been the best film that's ever been made, or something ridiculous. And it's like, oh well, your hype levels are just starting to go up now, and then you see this trailer, which is the first time I've watched this, although unfortunately it's on PS4, but whatever. It still looks pretty good.
It does.
And if it's an open world game where I can just drive around and do whatever the hell I want to my car and massacre people, and apparently fly a balloon or something.
And bury an axe in the back of some guy's skull whilst he's lying on the floor.
And have a personal gimp on your car.
Which is awesome. But yeah, I kind of... I do like. I haven't seen the new Mad Max film, but I remember at the time, like when this was first kind of revealed, I did the same as you. I was like, I think I was on Twitter straight away, like, "Oh, there's a Mad Max game. Great, that's only like 20 years too late or something." Because at the time, who gave a fuck about Mad Max?
No, it was strange.
I liked the films, but the films came out years ago. They're like 80s films. No one kind of. I don't think anyone really thought to themselves it was going to be anything worth looking out for, but now that I've actually seen more gameplay and seen what they're going to do with it, and with the knowledge that it's kind of got the power of this massive film release behind it, I'm actually really looking forward to it. And I think possibly it's because I'm being less cynical about it, having actually seen some of the gameplay, which really helps. Because to be honest, if they'd have said, "Oh, here's more information on Mad Max," now that the film's out and it was another like cinematic, I'd have just been like, "Oh yeah, film tie-in, brilliant. Great, let's get that cash money's flowing," and I wouldn't have cared. But it actually looks to be like a real game, which is like I wasn't expecting it to be a real game. But yeah, I've watched the second Mad Max film about 8 times at this point. It's got to be one of my favourite films. The first one I don't really like that much. Thunderdome we don't talk about, but it looks like it may be kind of pushed forward by the new Mad Max film, but it looks like the old Mad Max to me, which is exactly what I want. Like I've always wanted that kind of game, and I don't think there's really been anything that quite provides what it looks like this is going to provide. So as long as they show more gameplay at E3, I'm going to be happy because I'm already looking forward to this. It's already like something I really want to play. So as long as we get to see more, perfectly happy with that.
An interesting one could potentially be Titanfall 2 as well. Now, Titanfall was a game which was clearly designed to have a sequel because it was a game with hardly any content in, which is kind of funny that you say that because games like Splatoon, which have come out recently, have completely no content in when compared to Titanfall.
Yeah.
Actually talking of Splatoon, Nintendo were tweeting today actually, new map is open. The hemp farm. It's not called the hemp farm. It may as well be. It's the kelp farm. It's like, great, it's free. It's a free map. It's like, no, it ain't. This is a map that should have been in the game because you've only got 4 fucking maps in the game. No, 6 maps in the game, I think. Also, somewhat ridiculous. What about game modes? What about all of this? They don't have any of that. Titanfall, anyway, didn't have no content. It was fun for what it was, but then it was like, what the hell am I playing for? I'm the max rank. I've got all the weapons unlocked. I'm just the best at this game. I'm too good. Goodbye. That was my career at that game.
Yeah.
Titanfall 2, though, I will play that because I enjoyed Titanfall 1. But if it's the same thing, I will not be happy.
Yeah,
the same sort of light on content bullshit. It needs loads of Titans in it. And I mean loads of Titans. It needs loads of weapons.
Yeah, there needs to be variety.
Before, it needs the unlock system from Call of Duty, and that will make you play the game more. There needs to be loads of different ways of building your character. There kind of was, but there were ways which were completely pointless. There was like, I remember the Titan, the 30mm. I think it was a 30mm. It was like a cannon. It was like, it was like explosive shell. That was the best weapon by far on the Titan, like by far. Like you could get the rapid fire one, you could get other ones. They were okay, but that shell was like massively damaging to Titans. It killed people pretty much with one hit, provided you could aim. It was amazing. I just need to see. They can give me the same game because I think it will be the same base game, but I need loads of Titans, loads of maps, loads of game modes, loads of weapons, and
I want
loads
customization as well. I don't like not just guns, like not just loadouts. I want to see proper customization. I want to see like skins on Titans, like icons and stuff like that. I want to be able to actually make the Titan I'm in look like my Titan.
That was yes, just like have your name on the front of it or something.
Yeah, it was a really odd choice because it's like these guys who like were Call of Duty, so. And that's just covered in customization. Why was this not covered in customization? It felt like, I think I even said at the time, when you play Assassin's Creed 1, it feels like a tech demo for an Assassin's Creed series. Like, that's what it feels like. Even at the time, people were like, it's good, but it's repetitive, and it feels like it should have more in it. And then, lo and behold, Assassin's Creed 2 comes out, and it's got more in it. Like, the base mechanics are all the same, but there's more everything. There's more missions, there's more quests, there's more side missions, there's more, there's more weapons, more armor, the lot. Titanfall felt the same way. It's like, okay, so they've got the foundation of something pretty good here. Where's the rest of it? And then, of course, the answer to that is always going to be the rest of it is in the next game, which you'll have to buy when it comes out. I don't particularly like that model of doing things, but at the same time, I know that when Titanfall 2 does come out, the chances are I will play it because I really enjoyed the first one. I'm not even a big FPS guy. I'm not that bothered by first-person shooters, but for some reason, Titanfall I found really interesting and really fun to play. So if it is more of the same, but you get to actually, make it yours, make your character yours, make your Titan yours, then hopefully they'll show more of that at E3. Hopefully we'll get to see if there is going to be that kind of customization there.
So, XCOM 2. Now, I think we kind of covered this in the other HOTFIX we did. I just need to see gameplay, really.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I was going to say I'd like to see more kind of expansion on this story at E3, but that seems unlikely. And I'm actually...
Well, they may show like a proper trailer, like an intro thing to it.
And then again, I don't know whether I want to see more of that before I actually play it, or whether I want to actually see what they do, like in total, like the whole thing of it in one go. Because I feel
I
like
want to
that
know
might
what the
be...
story is. I want to know like what the hell are we doing? I mean, you can kind of see, we're guerrilla warfare. We're sort of insurgents and whatever. But why? Like, I want to know why.
Yeah.
If they show me a pre-rendered intro of massive alien ships turning up to the planet and whatever, then I get it. It's okay. I get where you're going with the story. Yeah. But I want to see what the game looks like. I want to see what the UI looks like. I want to see if different abilities or whatever's being used and stuff like that. That's about it, really. I'd like to see the mod tools as well if they show that off, because it's supposedly meant to be really easy to mod. I'd like to see some of that.
Another one that we've talked about before is... I'm assuming we're going to see more No Man's Sky at E3. I'm assuming that's going to turn up at some point, because isn't that not getting close to release? But then what
are they going to show you? Yeah.
This the thing. It's like I've seen it mentioned on quite a few sites where it's like, oh, No Man's Sky. We'll probably see some of that, and I'm just thinking, can we see any more of that? Like, can we literally see any more of No Man's Sky? I kind of felt like we saw everything that there was to see, and if there is more to show, do they really want to? Because at this point, I don't know. At this point, I'm already thinking that it's going to be disappointing to many people if they go in thinking it's more than it is. I don't know whether an appearance at E3 would help that or make it worse.
I'm not sure what they can show. Yeah, I'm not sure what they can show, because everything they've shown, like I remember the last thing they showed at the it was like the PlayStation something event, which I think it's been cancelled now or something because nobody went to it. But it was, I think it was a PlayStation experience. It might not have been cancelled. I don't know. But they showed the ship in orbit. They showed it flying around. Then it went into a planet, and it looked very like seamless the way it went to a planet. And then it landed on the planet, and then sort of took off again and flew around the planet.
Yeah,
it looked very impressive, and that was like okay. But like, I don't really know what they can actually show you beyond that, unless they show like some sort of a load of like, I don't know, character development, or they show like the way you can change your ship, or they show like how you form guilds or whatever, or all of that kind of stuff. Because really, they've shown none of that. They've just shown you what the game is, and it's this like exploration thing. Is the game even meant to have what I've just said in it? But again, have I been oversold? Is it not just a game about getting in your ship and flying around and seeing what's what? This is the problem I've got with that game. It will definitely be at E3 though. It has to be, definitely.
Yeah. I'm the same. I just don't know what else they can show, and I don't know if there is anything else to show, and whether it'd even be helpful to show it. It's a weird one. In a way, I'm kind of looking forward to it, but in another way, I just don't really know what to expect, because I feel like we've been given parts of information, but not all of it, or maybe not enough. It's weird. It seems to be it's going to be interesting to see how it's received when it comes out, if nothing else. There's probably one other.
Go on.
One other thing where it's going to be a massive feature of E3, and in a way, I don't actually care, because I don't think we need to know any more about it. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. We already know what it is. Well, we already know what it's going to be.
You say massive feature of E3. It'll be a feature of Ubisoft's thing. Well, I think that'll be it. I
don't know. I'm still feeling like I'm bored of that franchise now, which is a shame, because I used to really like it. I've no doubt that I'll pick it up. Well, I'm hoping they'll send it to me so we can actually, do something on it. But it's a weird one. I feel like I should care more about it, but especially after Unity, I don't know how well it's going to be received, no matter what they show at E3, because it does look to be interesting, but it also does look to be like the whole selling point is it's in London, and we know it's in London.
And he's got a grappling hook
and he's
thing.
got a grappling hook. You know,
And it looks absolutely shit. Because when they showed the footage of it, it was like, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah, it's like we know the details.
There's been a picture doing the rounds, and it's budgets, and it's got Witcher 3, 70 million, then it's got Grand Theft Auto, like 250 million, and Destiny, 500 million. It's like, what the hell were Destiny and fucking Rockstar doing with all that money if The Witcher 3 was manageable on 70 million quid? Now, Grand Theft Auto, I could kind of let them off because that's got a ton of features and whatever. Destiny, I don't know what the fucking hell was going on there with 500 mil.
I know, I don't know.
But The Witcher 3, yeah. I mean, my point is, like, the spending of, like, the Assassin's Creed strikes me as a game that has a ton of money spent on it by Ubisoft because they know they're going to make a certain amount back. I don't know how, I mean, is it even how much to develop Assassin's Creed Unity?
No, the first one was 20 million, second one was 24. It's just going to go up and up.
Yeah,
but
they don't count because they're old. They're before it became like a thing, ain't they?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a thing. What was 150 million estimated for Assassin's Creed Unity according to IMDb.
Yeah, so 150 million. A Witcher is a game that cost half of that and is a completely superior experience. Okay, you can say they're not the same game, but it's just superior in every single way. And is there like a rot in these places that needs to be cut out? Because it's so bloated, isn't it? Assassin's Creed now. I mean, it's been bloated for a while, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like,
it's been getting worse.
What the hell? Yeah, so
it
like,
still is.
Is this could this be the turning point for that series where it just capitulates so hard? Or like capitulate, not hard, but capitulates a bit enough for them to go, oh, we need to change the formula a little bit.
I don't know. It could do, but at the same time, it doesn't seem to be affected by stuff like that. I mean, this is why. I mean, if it is, the only reason that Syndicate will be affected will be because of the issues that Unity had. But even then, like the memory of a lot of gamers is very short. It's like this game was buggy when it was released. And then a year later, it's like,
well,
oh, I
my
quite
memory
like this
was short
series.
just of Deus Ex, wasn't it? Because I was like, oh yeah, fucking hell, it's great. But then it's like, yeah, but actually it was a bit buggy and a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah. But like Assassin's Creed, in my defense, has been horrendous for like multiple launches. Have been really bad for it. Yeah. And then they've kind of fixed it, but it's like, come on, lads.
Goodwill can only go so far. I'm kind of hoping that.
How long can people take it for? Yeah. Because I mean, like I said before, we've got to think like these people are the main like consumer base of Assassin's Creed and games like that are console gamers who do not watch HOTFIX. They are not like us, so they are kind of tolerable. Well, they tolerate it a little bit more, I think. They're just like, oh, it's a new game, so they go and buy it. But even there comes a point for those people where they're like, fucking no, I'm not buying this game because the last one didn't work, or the last one wasn't very good, or it was the same as the last 3 fucking games. There has to be a point, doesn't there?
You know, something else that crumble. Something else that we could end up seeing at E3. Like, I don't know how likely it is, but there's already there was rumours a little while ago of Watch Dogs 2 being in development because it appeared on a CV from an employee of Ubisoft. So
so
could
Watch
we
Dogs
see
2.
Watch Dogs
for
2?
Fuck's sake, like. Oh, God. You remember when Watch Dogs was announced? It's like, fucking Christ, what is this? The guy's on his phone. He's like this on his phone. This is like what you'd expect some sort of mental hacker guy to be like in the future, the near future. Everyone's interconnected. You know, he's walking around the streets. He can see everybody's history. He can like hack the bank accounts on the fly. He can do all of this mad stuff. And that is like, good God. The weather effects looked amazing. The graphics looked amazing. And what we were given was a complete bag of shit that didn't work, didn't look the same as it should have done, and was fucking ruined.
Yeah.
So for them to be like, yeah, we're working on Watch Dogs 2. That is like, I've got a problem with this because the first Watch Dogs, the first Watch Dogs, they've destroyed the name of that. The first game came out, they promised so much. They
destroyed a brand new IP instantly with that.
So now they want to do it again. It's like,
but then again,
everybody remembers the shitness of the first one.
I'm pretty sure Watch Dogs itself was released to like a really, like it had a really good release. As in, it earned a lot of money.
Yeah, it would have done, wouldn't it? Because everybody expected it to look like it should have looked like, and then it was a bag of shit.
Yeah.
This is, and we've got to stress, guys, this is the only factor that companies that are that have to be held accountable by shareholders give a shit about. It's just about how much money the game has made. And if they look and go, oh, it's made this much money, so I'm going to Google it as well. I guess you are. So
yeah, Ubisoft. A week after its release, Ubisoft announced that the game had sold 4 million units worldwide,
which is what The Witcher has done.
Yeah,
and The Witcher is the biggest selling game of this year so far.
That is not insignificant. That was, and in fact, when was Watch Dogs released? It was 2014. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
early
so it was
2014, was it?
Yeah, May 2014.
Wow, mid. Okay.
So that's
it's sold 8 million. They're saying it's done 8 million in sales. The latest earnings report shows sales for open world games continue to climb fast. Reached profit of 360 million. Watch Dogs shipped more than 8 million units. That's their total profits, 360 million for Ubisoft in the quarter of the end of last year. But yeah, 8 million units. So yeah, okay, so there we go. So anything we say about it having a shit brand name, being a bag of shit launch, none of this matters because it sold 8 million units. So the board are essentially like, yeah, Watch Dogs 2, and it gets the green light because it made a ton of money. That's all this is about. You know,
I think, you know what?
It's why we've got Mass Effect 4 as well, because Mass Effect 3, 2, and 1, the entire series, I'm going to Google it. How much is the Mass Effect series
Mass Effect sells.
Fucking stupid. How much profit has the Mass Effect series generated?
It's going to be something horrendous, isn't it? Like,
probably, yeah. Wait, just don't tell me. It's going to be a lot anyway. That's all you need to know, guys. A lot.
Yeah, there's no... I can't see a... like an easily accessible overview.
Usually Wikipedia will tell you, like on a game.
Yeah.
When you search for a game, it would just be like, it'll tell you how much it's made.
Well, Mass Effect 1 sold 3 million units.
Well, yeah, Mass Effect 3 grossed over 200 million on its own. So there's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Just, it probably would have made the most out of all of them, because it was the third one, the biggest, flashiest one, I guess. Whatever you thought about the ending. So yeah, it is a sad... I go on about this all the time, but it's like the Hollywood film industry in it as well. It's like, fucking let's reboot Terminator. Let's fucking reboot Mad Max. Let's do whatever. Okay, Mad Max example, fine. But like a lot of them, it's just sequel after sequel and you don't care. Like the Bourne films, these were good films. But then you got a Bourne film that didn't have fucking, Jason Bourne in it. It just had some other fucker in it. From fucking Marvel Avengers, and it was shit. It was like, what is this?
Yeah.
It was shit, but it's just because it's a Bourne film.
This is, this kind of highlights just part of the problem where it's like, this HOTFIX is about E3 and what's going to happen at E3 and what we want to see from E3. But to be honest with you, the thing I really want to see from E3 is new stuff. That's what I want to see more than anything.
Yeah. I'm sitting here and I'm trying to think of something like. It's like you can't think of something because you just want a game to be like when they shoved Watch Dogs at us. It was like, shit, this looks good. It's like a futuristic Grand Theft Auto. When they shove other shit, it just comes out of nowhere. No Man's Sky, when we seen out the VGX, it was like, Christ, what the fuck is this? Like, that's what I want. I want to see new games. I don't just want to see a remake or a sequel. Like, I can accept them and I can look forward to them. Like the Deus Ex Human Mankind Divided. I can look forward to it, but it's not something which is blowing me away. It's not like, wow, what is this? I need it now.
It's like looking through the list of things that are going to be talked about at E3. It's like so much of it is just sequels, and so much of it is sequels from huge companies that could do other things. Now, obviously, they're out to make money, therefore they won't do other things. They will produce what makes money, that's just how it works. It's like you can complain about what you like, but it's not going to change because that's, funnily enough, how capitalism works. That's why they are successful, because they're providing stuff that people want, and people want sequels. But when it's like, when you're looking at it, it's like another Assassin's Creed, like another Dark Souls. Like, I like Dark Souls. I do like Dark Souls. But Dark Souls 2 was disappointing. So for Dark Souls 3, it's like, okay, I can look forward to that. But at the same time, it's another sequel. Like Titanfall 2, again, it's a sequel. People are talking about a new Uncharted game. That's going to be like the fourth Uncharted game. It's another sequel. And then we've got like a reboot of Need for Speed as well.
Yeah, and we're going to have tons of, like, talking of the consoles, we're going to have tons of like HD remasters. We've got fucking God of War coming out. Wow. It's like, okay, for somebody like me, and even the Uncharted series as well, that's going to have like a stupid collection of all the previous games. Probably going to be HD-ified. for the PlayStation 4. Somebody like me, okay, that's great because it means that I could probably pick it up and play it. I played The Last of Us, didn't I? On my PS4. I enjoyed it. It was fine. I would never have played it on my PS3 because why would I buy it on an old system? So that's the reason why they're doing it. But there has to be, like, why would you play it again? I don't get why you would buy a game again if you're a console gamer just for slightly better visuals. It seems weird to me.
Yeah.
But it just seems a really cheap way of throwing games out the door. I mean, I'm looking at the list of games here and Minecraft story mode.
I don't even understand
Telltale
what that
things, is it? It's just going to be... We've got, like, Just Cause 3. Okay, we know a little bit about that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
But again, what is that? Just Cause 3? Yeah, it's another...
Apparently Homefront 2, The Revolution. This, again, is a sequel, but the first Homefront was a bit shit. That could be interesting. It's just about the North Koreans taking over America, basically, and you fight back. But that maybe could be interesting. Forza 6? No. A new Gears of War game? I don't care. The first Gears of War was brilliant.
Yeah.
All around me, offer me.
Did you see the version that was done for? I want to say Prototype 2. Because Gears of War did that first. They did like the soulful song and the hero standing there, and there's all like monsters everywhere.
Isn't Prototype the guy who's like
he's got like crazy mutations and stuff. They did like a version of that. I think it was Hurt, Johnny Cash's cover of Hurt.
Yeah.
That they did for Prototype 2, but it did not work. That was like, again, that was another thing where it's like, I can see what you were going for, but not quite work there for you. I mean, I'm looking at the list as well.
Destiny
It's like
expansion. Okay. Black Ops 3. Crackdown. Okay, we'll probably see something about that.
They're rebooting Crackdown?
Yeah, they announced this before, like last E3. With like a stupid trailer.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, and it was like blowing up this guy in the building. It just looked totally ridiculous. It was like, well, it was just ridiculous. That could be interesting.
There is Assetto Corsa, which, from what I've heard, I've got a copy of that. I need to take a look at that, but I feel like I need a steering wheel and pedals to even go near it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's that. If you're into simulators, that's obviously going to be really good. But
it's out. It's already out. That is, isn't it? You can play that now already.
But it's like I don't know. I'm just, when I look through the list, it's like there are things that I'm looking forward to seeing. Like it sounds like we're sitting there going, "Oh, it's all going to be crap," and we don't know about any of it. No, we are looking forward to stuff, and it is going to be interesting to see what they show for certain things.
I'm looking forward to. I want to see Overwatch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I want Blizzard
Overwatch
to invite me somewhere so I can play that game, please.
But there's. I feel like it's very easy to get not jaded, but I guess a bit worn because it feels like you're seeing a lot of new stuff that isn't really new. You know, it's like it's technically new because it's the newest version of whatever it is, but at the same time, it's not a new game.
Scalebound. That is something that could be interesting. This was shown last E3.
Yeah.
So this is from Platinum Games. These are the guys who made Bayonetta and Metal Gear Revengeance. Those are crazy games.
Therefore,
so this could be crazy. This is like slashing dragons. This could be like slashing up mega lizards.
Let me find the trailer for that because did that appear last year? I think it did.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I think it was just a pre-rendered thing, wasn't it? But I mean,
yeah.
And
there it is.
Apparently, some websites are claiming there is an unannounced Platinum game from Platinum Games as well. Until Dawn. Oh yeah, the thing from Sony. Is this not the thing that looked like? Am I being confused? What's the one which was like some medieval guy? Yeah, it's not Until Dawn.
I think I know.
It almost looks like almost looked like some mental Dark Souls thing. I mean, maybe you could see some of that.
Yeah, we've got the trailer for Scalebound that appeared last year up. I'd forgotten that the guy
pre-rendered.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd forgotten that the guy that although it's like that you've got these dragons and this guy's got a sword on his back. I'd forgotten there's hints of technology in this game that could make it really interesting because he's got a pair of headphones around his neck and he puts them on towards the end. I think it's kind of like they're very good at making crazy games, like really mental stuff. You know, the combat system, the mechanics are really good. The combat's awesome, but the games themselves are like way off the scale for just crazy insanity. So,
I mean, Revengeance, where you take vengeance again. where you just slash, like you just go, it's like you don't have to slash, but you just keep doing it. Yeah. Keep slashing.
You
It's
just
like
go
chop them into a billion pieces.
You just go crazy and just absolutely butcher them. It's so good. But yeah, I mean, I now that you mentioned Scalebound, I'd kind of forgotten that was a thing. But I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be. If it's anything like either of those games, then I'm perfectly happy because they're both crazy.
Well,
Bayonet is mental.
It's gonna be.
Revenge is mental.
Yeah. Bayonet. What the hell?
We're going to see more. We're going to see more the Division as well. I'm kind of still. I kind of hold out a little bit of hope for the Division. I'm still kind of looking forward to that. I know there's a good chance that it could be like horrendously
I'll just be
screwed
comparing
up.
it back to the stuff they showed last year and be like, well, look at the graphics they've changed.
Yeah, that's. I think
what a shock.
That's something that's going to be a bit worrying. Like if they show it off and there's been a distinct downgrade.
He shut the door.
Yeah.
Well, it might have even been the year before. I don't know, but he shut the door.
Yeah.
Like by the car, and he like goes shut, and it's like, wow, this looks quality.
Because I remember that being all over Twitter. It was like, holy shit, he shut the door. It's like it sounds like a silly thing to kind of get excited about, but that is like it's like a level of detail that you don't really see all that often, or at least not drawn attention to. And it was obvious that it was, trying to show that this is going to be some really quality stuff. Problem is, it's Ubisoft. And they keep delaying it, which in a way, delaying it's fine. I don't mind delaying it. We've said before, do you want a game that's crap and released early, or do you want a game that's delayed and good? But
I mean, all day of the week, you want the delays. But like that's the thing is, companies like Ubisoft have got to shove stuff out because, like I said, shareholders, blah blah blah. I mean, they are the bottom of the barrel company at the moment. They kind of do the rounds.
The track record.
It's been EA for a while, then it's suddenly Ubisoft now. Games released now, just a bit crap.
Yeah,
it's like. Are they going to be, look, Far Cry 5? Are they going to show a teaser for that? Probably. Will it be the same stupid open world formula that they've used for ages? Probably. Far Cry 4 was not very good.
Well, if you loved Far Cry 3, then
you got the same again.
You got to play Far Cry 3 again, essentially.
And it was exactly the same. I mean, pagan men, oh, wow, we've invented a crazy villain. Oh, he's so mad, this guy. It's like, no, he's not. He's just like that fucking other guy from the other one, the crazy pirate man. It's like, you did it once and everybody banged on about him and you've done it again. And they seem to me like they do one thing and it works and they just keep doing it over and over again. And it gets a bit embarrassing. Like to me, I'm like embarrassed for them. And that's the worst kind of embarrassment where you get embarrassed for somebody else. And you're like, lads, you've done this about 10 times before. Please stop.
Have you tried something new? Oh, no, wait, you did that with Watch Dogs and it didn't work. Oh, dear.
But it would have done if it actually was decent. Because Watch Dogs, and when I did play a little bit of it, it wasn't that bad. But it just ran like arse.
Yeah, and collapsed severely.
Big hairy arse. Anyway, that's it. Is that the end of the hotfix? It's got to be. I can't have anything else to talk about.
Yeah, it's the end of the hotfix. It's hopefully when we do the next hotfix, we'll have all the new information.
Well, there should be loads of news.
I'm
of stuff to talk about.
I'm hoping that we can actually, in a way, I'm really hoping that we can sit here and kind of I guess eat our words in a way, because like the last part of this hotfix, we've kind of expressed the fact that it's just a little bit, it gets wearing and a bit dull because it's all the same stuff. I really hope to be able to come back next week and be like, actually, in fairness, it might be a sequel, but this looks quality. It looks really good. They've given us information. Hopefully, we can do that. As always, if you enjoyed hotfix, like we said at the start, and you want to support it, Patreon is where to go. There's a linky up there with a little information button over there. And there's a linky down there in the description, as always. If you do help us out, then you will get a shout out at the start of the next hotfix. And, well,
beautiful, ladies and gentlemen.
Any last words?
Win big, all day, every day.
Oh, and Twitter's on the screen, as you can see. So if you can't read that, at Unilost Gaming and at Kirioth. So we will see you next week, ladies and gentlemen. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.